I'm saying for every artist out there and every songwriter, you are the CEO of your company.
Thank you.
And if you don't accept the responsibilities for the decisions that are made, then you're having somebody else decide your career for you. There's so many intangibles that you're not in control of, which is 98% of it. But the 2% of it, to give it away to someone because of their opinion, is ridiculous. You either believe in yourself or you don't.
All right, ladies and gents, gather round, gather round. We got value going once, truth going twice. Sold for a song. That's right, folks. Rights signed away, data given away, pennies on the play. Publishing, gone. Credit, missing. Ownership, kiss it goodbye. 50 pages of catch-22s, no dice. You can't eat a like, a follow, or a view. Sold for a song. But wait now, hold your bids, hold your breath. Here comes the truth louder than the bass line. Time to take it back, where the artists rise, the system shakes, and the silence finally breaks.
Welcome to Sold for a Song, the transformative podcast that dissects the music industry's long-standing practice of undervaluing its most essential contributors. Yes, we're talking songwriters and artists. In each episode, we'll delve into the journey of recognizing and elevating the true worth and value of music creators, discover how the industry has exploited creators, and learn actionable strategies to revolutionize this trend and take control of your career. Hello, podcast land. I'm Terrance Sawchuk, but you can call me Terry. After 30 plus years in the trenches of the music industry, trust me, I've seen it all. The highs, the heartbreaks, and the resilience it takes to succeed as a creator. Here's what I've learned. Awakening your self-worth, owning and leveraging your value, and streamlining the process to free up the time we need to do what we most love to do, which is create. That's what stands between you and the freedom we're all chasing. All right, before we dive in, if you believe in empowering artists and redefining what it means to thrive creatively, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a quick review, and share this episode with someone who truly needs it. That one click helps more than you know. And if you want to go deeper, join me at terrancesawchuk.com to be a part of the community and follow all of my endeavors for exclusive content and updates. Welcome back, podcast land. Today we have Oscar-nominated, Grammy Award-winning songwriter, producer, Dennis Matkosky. He's worked with Diana Ross, Boz Scaggs, Smokey Robinson, Kenny G, James Ingram, Jarreau, Eddie Money, Chicago, LeAnn Rimes, Keith Urban, somebody stop me. And as a side hustle, he just happens to have a platinum ear for talent and discovered his actual relative. You might know him as Hardy. Yes, Michael Hardy, the one and only who turned country music and Nashville on its head. And Dennis is an absolute wealth of stories and information and solutions for any creative out there. And I'm so glad to have him here. And that's why he is the perfect guest for Sold for a Song. Well, man, you are such a wealth of information and stories. And, let's take it back to the beginning, just how you got started. You got and you went to L.A., you came to, from New York to Philly years, all of it. Like, just pretend we don't know you, and which is impossible. And
well, I'll try to make it as concise as I can. I started my first band so when I was a little kid, I thought the coolest thing would be, about 5 or 6, would be to be a cowboy. And then I saw on TV that some of, like, Roy Rogers and all those earlier guys sang. I thought, okay, that's for me, a singing cowboy. So I started my first band at 12 years old.
Come on.
I learned House of the Rising Sun. And then in 7th grade or 8th grade, we got a new guitar player, Michael Sembello, and his cousin, Bud Rizzo's. In that nucleus band, the drummer went on to a band called Wire and Wood that should have gotten signed, but they had a fire. The bass player went on to be a big engineer at Sigma Sound and then worked for Boeing as an engineer. And Michael Sembello he left the band at 17 to join Stevie Wonder.
Come on.
As
is this in Brooklyn?
player.
You were from Brooklyn, but was this Philly
this
years
is in
now?
Philly.
Oh, now you're in Philly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born in Brooklyn, but I moved
Gotcha.
to Philly really young.
Oh, I didn't know you met Michael that young.
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
And we were childhood friends.
Oh,
and Bud
no
Rizzo, the other guitar player, went and played with Sergio Mendes and the Jackson 5.
Wow.
So it was a great little group of people because we really pushed each other.
Yeah.
Like, we were studying jazz when we were in high school. And
cool.
So that band, you know, when you're in 6th grade, you play your 8th grade dance. When you're in 8th grade, you play your junior prom. When you're in junior, you play all the fraternities all around there. You know, Penn. I went to Temple University, and that's where I met my wife. But we played all the fraternities, and then we started playing clubs when we were in high school. So when Michael joined Stevie, and then I went to college at Temple University and studied composition and theory. That's where I met my wife, and she was a flutist and pianist. And then we graduated, and we moved to L.A. in '79. And so I wrote one song by myself before I moved out, and then the first song I co-wrote was Mirror, Mirror with Michael.
Right.
And it became a hit for Diana Ross.
Diana Ross, yeah.
And then we were asked to write the theme for this movie, Summer Lovers. So we wrote, that was the second song that I wrote. And then that led to Flashdance. And, you know, I was, when we moved to LA, our 1-bedroom apartment was also the studio and was also the nursery.
Of course.
So I was watching television one night, and they found all these bodies in, I guess, Gacy, the serial killer. They found all these bodies in his yard. And I just thought to myself, you know, this guy could live next door to me. So I just scribbled on a piece of paper, he's a maniac. He just moved next door. He'll kill your cat and nail it to the floor. He'll rape your mother and screw your wife. He's a maniac.
Come on. That's how that started?
That's how it started. So I said to Leslie, hey, what do you think of this title? And she said, you know, I'd go talk to somebody, like get professional help.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. It's
great wedding song.
Yeah. Let's do this as a ballad. So I went over to Sembello's the next night we were supposed to write, and I told him the title, and his eyes lit up. He said, man, hit the weirdest chord you know. So I'm a Bill Evans, and I'll get to this later because I'm back to Bill Evans. I'm a student again, learning all of his stuff.
Yeah.
But back then, for all the songwriters, so he would do a 2 to 5 to 1, you know, at the end of the song. So if you were in the key of F, right?
Yeah.
And the 2 minors, G minor to C7, and the 1 chord that you end up on is F.
Yeah.
But Bill Evans wouldn't do that. He would do the 2 to 5. And then instead of doing an F major 7th or something like that, he would do an E flat minor plus 5 9th.
What the hell?
So it would be spelled out E flat in the bass, F sharp, B natural, F.
Yeah, because I was going to say that the intro of that song, it sounds like something over a something.
Yeah. Well, the intro is that's a different figure that I just, you know, that I played everything except for the guitar and the drums on that track.
On that track as well. Okay.
But anyway, so that was the weirdest chord, and Michael and I had a database of 10 years already together. So we could write without even thinking about it because we knew with each other how we worked, you know. So we wrote that song in about 15 minutes, just because we were having fun.
Yeah.
And we were trying to copy, not consciously, but just a still. Well, to us, that was Bally High. Just a still Bally High.
Yeah.
And you know, the most menacing that, and so we did it as jazzy as we could. And the middle section was a song called DOA. It was based off of an English ambulance, the tritone. And then we did. Excuse, this isn't politically correct, but back then we were trying to do somebody. This is what we used as a term, mongoloid, doing chopsticks in the bridge.
Yeah.
And then Michael did that incredible solo.
Yeah.
And so we stayed up all night because Phil Ramone was going to come over the next day because he was interested in working with Michael. So we stayed up all night and recorded the song. And Phil came over the next morning, and we played him this song, and he says, "Listen, I'm working on this little movie called Flashdance.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to get this song cut is if, like, I'll stick it in the movie. Will you rewrite the lyrics according to the script?" Because we were just kind of putting dummy lyrics in at that point, and that's what we did. We actually did it on I've never done it since or before. We put some of the key words from the script on a whiteboard.
Okay.
and use the words like kinetic,
Okay.
those type of things.
Yeah.
And then we went to see the film, and we thought to ourselves, wow, I don't know about this.
And this was Oscar nominated, was it not? Ended up being Oscar nominated?
I was nominated for Best Song in a movie that year for an Oscar and for a Golden Globe and for 2 Grammys. And
Jesus.
we won 1 Grammy.
So, okay, let me just calm down for a second. There's so many things I want to ask you about this, but there's something important that a lot of listeners might not know is why or how does a song get nominated for Song of the Year in a movie? It has to be written for the movie. It can't have existed before. You can't just Hit Me With Your Best Shot and throw it in a movie and it's the best song for an original movie. It has to be written for, that's why the song exists. It was written for the movie, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also think there's an ownership element to that as well that is not spoken of.
So
at least back then.
From the movie from Warner Brothers or whoever.
Well, if it's work for hire, then they own it.
They're going to own. So did they own that song?
Yes. They own the publishing on that song.
They own so they get 50% on every dollar, and they own the copyright.
Yeah. Well, not quite 50% because of the writer's publisher share.
Right. Okay.
But other than that, yes.
So the 2 of you wrote it?
Yes.
Okay. And so 50-50 there. They got the publishing side.
Correct.
And they got the ownership of the song.
Correct.
Okay. And I remember you posting recently on Facebook, it was the Grammy Awards, and they were showing, and that was, you were also up for Song of the Year, right? Because it was
a great competition that year.
Great. So this is the understatement of the decade, because presenting the award is Bob Dylan and Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
And there's Dennis in the audience sitting with Michael Sembello, and you were up against
Billie Jean, Michael Jackson.
That rings a bell.
Beat It, Michael Jackson.
Oh, both songs.
All Night Long,
Lionel Richie.
And The Police, Every Breath You Take.
Every Breath You Take. So a bunch of hack songs, and
yeah, none of them had a chance.
They didn't stand a chance. No. Every Breath You Take.
And,
give me a break.
Yes, and when we did win for 1 Grammy for song in a movie. And I did thank Michael Jackson for not writing a song for a movie that year.
Thank you for giving us a hope in hell.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so where are you at this point? You're in LA?
Yes, I'm in LA. I have Michael and I have a studio together, and then I started writing. I started writing with Bobby Caldwell a lot, and we had a lot.
I forgot we had that connection. Remember, I cut some of his songs and with Matt Dusk and all that stuff. Yeah.
So Bobby, Jason, Chef, and I wrote "Heart of Mine" for Boz Scaggs, and cool. Bobby and I wrote "All or Nothing at All" for Al Jarreau. And so I started writing with Champlin, Bobby Caldwell, Jason Chef, Paul Gordon. A lot of my friends that are still
Champlin from Chicago, right?
Yeah, Bill.
Bill,
yes, yeah. Started producing a lot of artists, James Ingram and George Benson, and co-producing with George Duke, Al Jarreau, and producing the group Chicago and Eddie Money and JT Taylor of Kool and the Gang, who I love.
Oh God! Okay, you have to tell the Kool and the Gang who's this third co-writer on your record. That's your co. Please tell that.
Well, it's not really my story to tell, but there were on a lot of the Kool and the Gang songs. All I can say is I know JT, and he wrote "Celebrate" and all those. The list just is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But he also found that there was somebody on there with a vowel at the end of their name that was also a co-writer. That's as much as I want to. That's as much as I want.
That's all.
To
a vowel might be a big fan of the Godfather movies.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait for the book for that one. I'm waiting for one other person to pass away.
I have to wait for one person that can still sue me to pass away.
Not sue.
Oh God. Oh man, the stories, the things that we know. Oh my God.
But yeah, that was a lot of the groups back then. A lot of my friends were in deals like that where they got a car instead of royalties, or that type of thing that doesn't exist anymore. But back then it did.
Well, if you go way back, some of these, black blues writers, and they got a car for their song, but it was a rental.
Right.
And they didn't even get the car.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. So true.
Yeah, people don't understand like how undervalued, to think Wall Street and the investors and the people that have come in to buy up copyright in the last decade, like it's just been a, yard sale here in Nashville and LA, and people buying up copyright, and a lot of people are making a lot of great money from it. But why? You wonder why. One of the few things that I've done in the last few years was spend some time with some developers from Toronto and looking at doing affordable housing. So I got to hang with a couple of billionaires and a few people that have, self-made billionaires multiple times over. And one thing I learned from them is they don't do anything. They don't touch anything unless it is embarrassingly undervalued. They want their 75% return in the first 12 months. They have the cash to purchase it and do it now. And they're walking into a town where someone will sell their guitar to pay the rent. That's one class. The second class would be I've got 30 number ones. Yeah, I can cash in and I can do it again. I'm in the position where I can repeat it and do it. It depends on the situation that you're in.
Right, of course.
And then, of course, they have we're a walking asset class called a non-correlated asset, which means the economy and what's going on in the world, our income isn't as affected by that, which makes that also very attractive. But if you noticed, we're starting to get more royalties here. We're starting to do this. Admin's with AI is going to start getting a little bit better. It's kind of funny how things are starting to slowly wiggle themselves free now that so many billionaires in Wall Street are getting involved. So that's why I decided not to sell anything. I was like, I'm just going to let these guys, if I learned anything from hanging out with these cats in Toronto, I'm going to let them blaze the trail and make the money go up 100x. And then I'm just going to sit there and wait for them to do the hard work and the heavy lifting. But again, it depends on your situation. Obviously, There's so many moving pieces. And all right, so LA, you've got the success of Maniac. You're doing a ton of sessions, and you're producing and co-writing on all these sessions.
I'm producing almost everything that I'm writing.
Okay,
and I'm playing on it as well, unless unless I'm not, because. Everything. I grew up in a home studio, so I had a 24 track in 1981. So with all the money that I made on Mirror Mirror, we just bought equipment.
Wow.
So Tina Marie, and then I started working for a lot of movies, DC Cab, a bunch of them. What was the one with Gregory Hines? Tap.
Oh, yeah.
Worked
Scoring or original music?
Songs.
Songs.
Produced something with Matthew Wilder and Russ Titleman for that. And then Matthew and I did Tina Marie on that record. And I would go back and forth. I would produce Teddy Pendergrass with Linda Creed in Philadelphia, because I could do a whole podcast on her. She's just she was one of the most amazing people. And, I would be doing sessions, and I would be doing sessions for Helen Terry of Culture Club Don Was producing.
No kidding.
I kind of just got to do a bunch of different things.
Wow.
And I was always writing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen each other and worked together, and that's what I always valued in you, is that you were just kind of that Swiss Army knife that could, like, what genre are we doing today? And that's kind of what I grew up with. It was neither one of us were country people. We just kind of came here and learned it, and as everyone has to and should. But that LA scene's kind of, talking to Fred Mullen, who was my guest recently, and it's like the session players. I mean, it's dead in LA now. It's like this is the last of the Mohicans is in Nashville.
Yeah, most of my friends are just not busy anymore, and if they are, it's film work and award shows, and or they're like Vinnie Colaiuta. They got a set up in their own house, a studio. Right,
and
a lot of people
send the tracks to them. And
I recently had Steve Ferrone play drums for me, and I sent it to him. And
yeah, very cool.
Yeah, he's amazing.
So, okay, you made the move from LA to where now?
In '94, the earthquake totaled our house in Woodland Hills. Kind of cracked it in half.
Wow.
In that Northridge earthquake. So I came down here in '94. My mom had moved back to Mississippi. I grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but I spent every summer on my grandmother's farm in Philadelphia, Mississippi. So I was exposed to country music at that point. So we moved to Nashville because I wanted to be around songwriters. And a lot of my friends were going different directions. They were either on the road with Chicago, or they went into Broadway, Paul Gordon, or, everybody was kind of doing different things at that point. It was funny, when I loved Nirvana. And as soon as I heard Nirvana, I thought to myself, whatever you're writing right now is over.
Yeah.
It was one of those epiphanies. It was like a dinosaur thing. So I decided I have to be around writers. And I got an opportunity to come here for a pub deal. And they were paying Michael and Marty, and I moved out and signed to the same company, which was Reunion, which was neither here nor there. But it afforded me to live the lifestyle that I had in L.A. out here. And it was good. I started, and then when I moved here, I was producing a lot of Christian artists.
Oh, really?
Phillips, Craig and Dean. I worked with CeCe Winans and still do. Wilshire, Micah's band.
Oh, yeah.
And Tony Vincent, Amy Morris, Pam Thumb, a bunch of other people. And I did that for, I don't know, about 4 years. But I was still writing, going back to LA a lot. I had an apartment in Hollywood and started working on not all of the, but started working on the American Idol stuff with Bo Bryce and Clay Aiken. I had
back in the origin of it, Kelly Clarkson era.
Yeah, and I'm forgetting a couple names, but did that as well at the same time. I wrote "I Need You" for LeAnn.
That's right.
And LeAnn Rimes. And that's an interesting story because when I wrote that, I mean, Leslie's a musician, my wife, and she plays piano. She can recite Beethoven and plays flute and sings. And we were in bands together our whole, ever since we started together.
I didn't know that either.
20, yeah. But she's heard all my stuff. And I was working on "I Need You." And, she's kind of like, yeah, okay. But on that one, she said, you know what? That sounds like a hit. You should go play that for Faith Hill. And so I played it for A&R, Missy. And but she just didn't hear it, and she said they have a lot of mid-tempo positive songs. And so I really believed in the song. So I had a meeting with Curb, and Michelle Metzger at that point was at A&R. And Michelle, I apologize because I don't think you've ever heard this story. And so when I'm in the waiting lobby, I'm reading a Variety magazine, and I see now, I've worked on over 20 movies at this point, so I have some background in it. But I see that Kevin Costner is doing a new movie called "For the Love of the Game."
Okay,
and I'm just getting madder sitting in the seat. Like, I know this is a hit. So I go into the office and I said, "Hey, before I play this for you, I'm working on this movie For the Love of the Game with Kevin Costner, and they really want this song, but they need a singer, and they need to know who it is within 24 hours. So I was thinking LeAnn would be great for this."
Yeah.
So I played her the song, and she calls Mike Curb, and she sends it to Mike, and Mike calls me back like that afternoon and says, "You know what? We love this song. LeAnn will cut it. We think it'd be perfect for LeAnn. If you will not if you'll not give it to us instead, I'll put it on her. We're doing a Jesus miniseries on TV. I'll put it on that soundtrack, and I'll put it on her next record." And I said, okay. So, but I didn't have to call anybody because I made the whole Kevin Costner thing up.
Yeah.
So it worked out, and she recorded it and did really well. And then I wrote "You Think of Me" with Ty Lacey and Darryl Brown, and that I pitched that song for like 8 years.
Oh my God!
Until it got cut, and Darryl was the one that really got it cut because he never played the demo. My demo was Ty singing, but it sounded more like Peter Gabriel, and Darryl was really smart, and he kind of just gave the chords to Keith, and Keith kind of made it his own from the very beginning. It was similar. I had the same drum groove and the same pads and all that kind of stuff, but he just made an incredible record. Him and Dan just made an amazing record.
It's like shooting a fish in a barrel.
I know.
Dan Huff is a freak of nature.
He is
the sweetest guy. Just loves what he does. He's so good. Yeah, and I love him.
He's a musician's
absolutely,
and a gentleman's gentleman.
Yeah, he is. And you know what? That kind of personality goes a long way in the country world. The rock and roll and the R&B, and you start getting into more characters and your Daniel Lanois and your different it starts branching out a little bit as you leave that kind of genre.
And he played guitar on "Heart of Mine" with the original version that Bill Schnee cut, which is still my favorite version. It never came out.
Dan, you mean?
Dan Huff played guitar. Picaro played bass.
Oh God!
Bill produced it. I think it was. I can't remember who the bass player was, but it was amazing.
You know, we were talking about Shannon Forrest offline, an incredible session player who plays with Toto, and he was saying, you know, when you're what's a hit? We're trying to identify a hit, and he was just telling me how the guys made fun of the song Africa because it was the keyboard player that wrote it, and it was just so not a Toto song. But he said, no, guys, we got to find a way to do this song. And he was just really adamant about it. And then at one point, he said, I'll walk down Hollywood Boulevard naked if this song's a hit. Like, we'll do it just to appease you, but you're killing me.
Right.
They still live off that song.
Yeah. Yep.
It's funny how things come to life. And like you say, 8 years is nothing to pitch a song. They say the great songs are timeless and the pitching is all timing.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen songs I've had songs come back from 25 years.
No,
and
you're
get
right.
recorded or just show up on a greatest hits album or something that wasn't on the original album or whatever.
Well, it's funny because Hardy, when the reason I signed him, well, not just the reason, but the tipping point was he wrote a song called Dog Years, like 11 years ago. That's why I signed him to his first deal. Okay. And I have been pitching that song for 11 years. It's on his new record that just came out.
Because he cut it.
Because he cut it. And you know, of all the artists I pitched it to, the right one did it.
The right one did it.
Yep.
Okay, we got to talk about Mr. Okay, so I'll go back to my old house and studio in Sylvan Park. And when we first came to town, with Dennis and I were both signed to Cobalt Music Publishing at the same time. He said, is he your nephew or what is Michael?
He is my first cousin, 3 times removed. Okay. His grandfather's my first cousin.
Okay, so it was family in a way. That's all I knew. I would love if you wrote with this kid or what. How you connected us somehow, and I said, great. So he comes over. I'll never forget. You know, Michael Hardy sitting on my couch in Sylvan Park, and always full of ideas and just the most wonderful human being. Mm-hmm. So kind, but he brought shit to the table. It was every time he opened his mouth, it's like, well, I mean, okay, I grew up with country music and French folk songs and the house parties, and my grandmother played 5 instruments and my mother played piano. I grew up around this stuff, but this guy is country. I mean, he's from Mississippi. It oozes out of him, the culture. It's real. And it's just a pleasure and an honor to sit back and listen to him just start spitting stuff out, which is, it's like me talking hockey.
Yeah.
And it's like he just starts spitting stuff. And, you know, of the, whatever it was, 3 or 4 or 5 songs that we had written at the time, I could tell the people, and this is even going back to Alanis and whatever back in the day, like I can tell when somebody sits on my couch in the studio and you go, okay,
right,
keep an eye on this one. You can just see it in them. Again, I didn't know he was going to take it that far, but the one thing when I saw, I'm always calling him Michael, it's Hardy, but it's when he got to that point where he started really bending, you know, the genre and everything, I go, oh my God, not only is this kid becoming the fearless artist he truly was and unapologetic, but he is bending this town and doing his thing to it.
Again, I could speak about him for
please do
a long time, but needless to say, he's a poet. He's fearless. He's fearless, and he has changed the genre. He has changed the genre of country music.
Yeah,
and he brought back the multiple meaning titles.
Yes.
It's all been done before, but not the way that Hardy has done it. And as far as, you know, what you were saying, the Mockingbird and the Crow, that's brilliant work. Yeah. And he continues to just surprise. It's really a wonderful thing. We have a publishing company together, and we have Jesse, my son, really runs it, and we have 10 writers, and we have songwriting camps 4 or 5 times a year. And to see our writers and everybody's level get that high because of Hardy, and they're all great writers. Right. I mean, they're all great writers in their own right, but he does bring something that is so individual to the game that you can almost tell if he's on the song, even if he's not singing it.
Oh yeah,
just from that lyrical position. So, and as a human being, he couldn't ask for somebody better to work with. And
what I really love about Michael is the story of the napkin quit.
Right,
he got a napkin story. When he was playing a writer's round, and somebody said, "You're so bad. Here, I'm going to put, instead of a tip in your tip jar, I'm going to put a napkin." And I wrote "quit," like quit, stop doing this.
Yeah, that's all it said was quit.
So the name of his new album is "Quit," right?
Yeah, his last album.
Last album.
Yeah, this one's called Country Country, I think.
Okay. So I love that he comes back and because a lot of the origin of Sold for a Song is based in the devaluing of the song and the songwriter. And that's just a little taste of what somebody can get. It's like, don't quit your day job. Or as I post on my website, it says, there's a picture of me and Eric Pasley and Lyle Lovett, the great Lyle Lovett. And it says, beneath it says, not only, and this is in reference to Barefoot Blue Jean Night, it says, not only is this the worst song I've ever heard in my life, I'm embarrassed for you professionally for playing it for me.
Sure.
And that's a quote from a famous Nashville producer, I won't mention who, to the song pluggers. I'm embarrassed for you professionally for thinking it was a good idea to play this for me. And we're holding the ASCAP Song of the Year awards in the photo above this quote. Michael's one of those people that said, basically, fuck you. I believe in me, and I'm going to take this as far as I can. And when I do, I'm going to keep doing it my way. And your industry will have to bend around me because I'm not changing.
Well, and this is a story that I'm sure in your podcast with Eddie Schwartz, you've heard this story. It's every one of us have a version of this story. And the definition of success is not yielding to what they want, what they have to say.
Absolutely.
And for so many artists that listen to the record company, I'm not saying defy anyone. I'm saying for every artist out there and every songwriter, you are the CEO of your company.
Thank you.
And if you don't accept the responsibilities for the decisions that are made, then you're having somebody else decide your career for you. There's so many intangibles that you're not in control of, which is 98% of it. But the 2% of it, to give it away to someone because of their opinion, is ridiculous. You either believe in yourself or you don't. And the people that do are successful. Now, of course, you have to work your ass off.
Absolutely. That advice right there that's exactly why I wanted you here today. What you just said it nails it perfectly. And we don't have the muscle memory of handling our business. Someone's always got us. Don't worry, we'll take. Someone else is always seeing the value of what we do. And, we've had so many amazing conversations on these podcasts. Clive Davis, where, if you say the wrong thing to him, he can shut your career down overnight.
Absolutely.
Like, he thinks it's about him. And then you got Prince going, let the baker make the bread.
Right. You
You just go tell everybody about it. That's what we need. We need you for your marketing and your bank account and to front some money. Front it and let us make the bread.
The only reason it's called music business is business music doesn't sound good. Because it really is business music.
No, you're right. You're right. And I always say you don't have to like the music business, but you do have to get good at it. And it always blows my mind when I see friends in town who have had countless hits already, and then go sign another publishing deal that is just like you're giving up writer's share. It's like,
right.
Oh my God.
My daughter is an amazing painter. She's chose the one thing that's even harder than what we do.
Yeah.
And Jesse and my son and the most important thing for an artist is to keep doing art. In order to do that, you're going to have to learn the business that you're in, whatever that art is.
Yeah.
So you can sustain yourself, so you can grow. That's it.
That's it. That is it. That's what we're trying to bring to everybody with this podcast. Is you don't have to become an entertainment lawyer, but you can't wonder why you're still driving a moped after you've had success.
Yeah.
And then you start looking at what that contract said 10 years ago.
Right.
It's too late now.
And with the institutions that are happening now, the colleges that teach music business and songwriting, they're great. But I also see the flip side of that, where some people are so educated to what they want in terms of what they want from a deal, but they're not in a position or a leverage point to get that. So you have to be able to read the room about where you are. No matter how much you know or how much you don't know, if you don't know something, you better get somebody that does. Yeah. And if you know so much, you better get somebody that knows the reality of your situation if you don't see it. Most artists see everything from their own prism. And that is a wonderful thing when it comes to art. But when it comes to business, they have to see themselves as a commodity. And it's very difficult to switch heads.
Dennis is spitting platinum today. We got him on an awesome day here. The level of entitlement, we'll call it, that's out there today is not, we didn't grow up around you. If you couldn't sing or play or tour or capture an audience back when we started, you're done. Like Steve Perry singing in the other band coming on after you. Like you better have your shit down. Now it's a much different environment, but
absolutely. I'm going to sound old right now, but when I started, I remember we played the same group, Michael and Bud and Sembello and all. We were playing a mob club one night, and we were hired.
$1.
We were hired from the guy to play 5 sets, and we got $32 for the group per set. So we kind of worked it out. It's like, okay, that's like $40 each. So we get to there the first night, and the guy says, I don't want you to go on yet. Okay. So we wait till 12, and we go on for 2 sets. Okay, the next night, same thing, 12 to 2 sets. The next night, we go on 11. So this, the band always says to me, hey, go talk to him. Like, I'm going to go talk to him. So I go up to the owner who's sitting at the bar, and I said to him, we were hired to play 5 sets. We can't make a living doing this many sets. And he puts a 45, takes a gun out and puts it on the bar table and says, get the fuck out of here. Okay, Jeez. So that's one of the stories. I can go on, but
please.
but today you're auditioning for American Idol or The Voice or whatever,
or TikTok. You're just trying to get noticed.
Whatever it is, it's so untangible that the growth, you don't really have a perspective of how you're growing. You're either there or you're not.
Yeah.
So it's harder for these kids because they don't have a place to fail. They don't have there's no, let's sign this person. And it'll take them 2 or 3 years to really find themselves or for herself. But we believe in them.
Yeah.
What, Fleetwood Mac did 16 records before their big hit?
Really?
Yeah, in the different incarnations of the group.
Oh my God. Yes. I remember from Canada, Celine Dion, when she became this huge star and selling millions of records, that was her, not only was it her 13th album by the time she was 19, she started recording as a child. That was her first album in English.
Right.
And everybody thinks that was her first album.
Right. And now, this was just this morning, talking to, Jesse was telling me that, I won't say which company, but if you don't have 1 million spins a week, they won't release it to radio.
Oh, yeah. That's been going on for a while.
Yeah, but it's got to be consistent. It can't be 3 or 4 weeks, and then they'll just drop it off. And so
it's an algorithm.
It's an algorithm-based world, yeah.
So one of the things that I'm trying to help the next generation with is the game's changed, so you have to reinvent the wheel, literally. Have you heard of the book Blue Ocean Strategy?
I have not.
So it talks about, it's kind of the way that we write music, where you end up kind of changing things by being fearless. So what was the Barnum and Bailey circus industry and the way they beat the animals and didn't feed them, and it was a shit show the way they managed that. And then overnight, Cirque du Soleil, and it literally shuts it down. Blockbuster Video closed overnight as soon as streaming and everything comes in. So that's what it's going to take going forward, is going to be, the rules will have to be completely changed, because right now we're at a stage where I've never seen creators being leveraged like they are now. I got back from South by Southwest last year, and every software company's got a new solution to help us with. And I said, well, then if software is so easy, why do we need you? So we're moving with 2 to 5 years away now, from what I'm told, from the best of the best, from speaking your software into your phone. And this is what I want to own: the code. I want to outright own everything and own my entire portal, the data, algorithms, everything. Everyone comes to me. I own it all. And if you want my algorithm, you want my data, you can lease it off me like rent, instead of Zuckerberg getting the money. So this is where I think everything's heading, and not just do I think it's going there, I'm going to help push it in that way. So now we go back to the days where we would get mechanicals on a million selling record. We'd split, there'd be 95 grand in mechanicals there. You could actually make some money off of one song or whatever. Now it's more about 10 fans. Well, what are you going to do with 10 fans? Well, what are you going to do with 100 on the whole world? What are you going to do with 100 fans? If they give you $1,000 a year each, do you know how many people are making $100,000 writing and creating songs? Not many. So I see it as a massive opportunity. I think one of the first people, if he plays his cards right, that's going to be one of the first artists to really move this forward. I'm just thinking about this is, believe it or not, is going to be Justin Bieber. He just fired his management. He got off the label deal. So I think he just released new music, doing what he wants, when he wants, how he wants, with whoever he wants. Got a cool couple of 200-300 million sitting in the bank from his catalog sale. Now I hear Netflix is starting their own record label. So now you're going to start seeing content where they're going to do exclusivity deals with artists who nobody owns a share of. Nobody. Not the majors, no one. Maybe not even management or publishers. And they're going to go, let's give Justin 100 million. We want you to do the next 3 albums. We want your live concert. We want all the behind the scenes of the songwriters writing the songs. We want all the content. We are going to obliterate what is presented as music. That's the Blue Ocean strategy, one of them coming. I think what it's going to be is when you start seeing artists, and if I have anything to do with this, and I'm not going to rest until I see this, is where you own everything. Now it's like having a great admin deal. If you sign an admin deal at the right time, which we both were in that situation. Good. I need to make 10% of the success that everyone else is having to make the same money because I own it all. So I only need hundreds of fans. Could you just imagine this for a second? Michael Hardy is in a situation where he wanted to do that. No more labels, no more whatever. I mean, you still got your partnership and that kind of thing. No, everyone's like merch sales, 100% of ticket sales. You want to come to my concert? Yeah. Everything is booked through me. There's no extra fees or what. It's going to come through me. Ticketmaster wants a cut of it? Good. We'll use Zapier, which connects my site to your site, and you'll get your share. It's coming, but it comes to me first because I am the product. I am the company, I am the CEO. So if I don't write a song and perform it and bring it out there, you don't get a reason to leave the driveway and go make a living. I can go do this anywhere. So Spotify, they need me to write a song. They can't you can't get your stock to $700 until Dennis writes a song. So Dennis, really, you have all the chips in front of you. Just the infrastructure is all backwards the last 600 years. So this is where I see everything is going to be shifting. We're in a really unique situation, and especially somebody like yourself, that's got such great writers around, and it's a great opportunity to take a new look and go, we're looking at the wrong numbers. We should be looking at hundreds of people and owning everything.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And if you look at have you heard of this, the baseball thing, the Savannah Bananas?
Yes, I have.
Have you heard that guy's business model?
Yeah, it's crazy.
He was sleeping on an air mattress with his wife, and he mortgaged his house to keep it going. And because one of their things at the games is the tickets are $60, and they have some VIP things for 120 different experiences, like an upsell. But they were sleeping on an air mattress because one of the things that you get with your ticket is unlimited food and drink.
That is brilliant.
And every company in the world has asked to buy him out and invest, and he turned everyone down. And every stadium he's playing, from Chicago, all these stadiums that can't sell out, he's selling them out multiple nights sometimes. That's a blue ocean strategy. That's somebody said, oh, I see. Here's the problem in the music industry, and I have the remedy. And it's turn the entire thing upside down and rewrite the rule book. That's where this is going. And AI is going to work in our favor that way. And this isn't a me against you or a divide and conquer thing. It's your daughter makes a painting. She should be in control of that. Now you have the choice to bring in a publisher or bring in somebody, but that should be a reciprocal investment. It shouldn't be, how come you're owning everything and don't I get a shot to at least get a shot at maybe buying this back or so? It's like the conversation should be flipped. None of this is easy.
Right.
Hard work is tied to everything. Yeah. I think that people like you and I are uniquely in a position, especially the experience and the age that we're at now, we can actually do something about this with mediums like this, with podcasts, with your publishing company, to go, hang on a second. Mm-hmm. Instead of waiting for a cut, instead of doing this, when that new contract comes up for our artists or whatever, we're going to start looking at this a little differently.
I agree with that. We have conversations in this theater all the time because we have several of our writers are signed to majors or were signed to majors, and weren't quite happy with that experience. These are conversations that we have. And I agree with you. I think AI is going to be able to assist in this. I think it's going to cut out commissions. I think it's going to do a lot of different things
Well, the streamlining is the big part of it. So, like I got my hands on I'm doing the podcast. I get this course coming out. I'm 2 singles I'm producing. Like streamlining is extremely important in our lives. Mm-hmm. So if AI can take care of a bunch of stuff, so I can just roll in and start talking on a mic or jump to the piano and start programming something or go into a studio and it's almost like having what an operations person would be in the past.
Right.
AI will be, oh, here. All your emails got sent out for you, everything. Oh, so I can be creative? Oh, yeah. And if Mark Cuban has 150 companies, and he doesn't look like he's run ragged or anything because he's got operations people and everything's streamlined. And he's able to show up in jeans at South by Southwest and do a talk, and he's got time.
Right. Brilliant.
Crazy. Well, buddy, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to come out here, and we got to do another one sometime. You got so many things on the books and great projects and
well, it's great
artists.
to hang with you, and
and your book. You're working on a book too.
I'm working on a book, and it's kind of my history. There's some things that I'm saving for the book.
Yeah,
it's a combination of things that I've gone through, and some pitfalls that I can help people avoid, or at least kind of show them what I've stepped in a lot of those, so maybe they don't have to. So I'm writing now. I'm not worrying about what it is at this point. I am just writing every day, and I'm just trying to do that on a consistent basis so that I have something. And like I said to you, besides the business, and I'm still writing songs, and I've gone back to being a jazz student again, and that's been really fun.
Nice.
So
back to the roots.
Yeah, it's been good.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, promise me when you're done this book that you'll come back on and talk about the book again, because there'll be so much to dig into, and especially all the legal things you can get around. Then it'll be there. Let me just say what we talk about in our writing sessions and what goes on in Music Row. It's I wish everybody could be a fly on the wall. Some of it you can hear, some of it you can't. But music and hot dogs, everybody loves them, but you don't want to see how they're made. I say.
Yeah. Some things are better left unsaid, and some things are very valid for the moment, but to be out there in the major waves, it bite you back.
Yeah. Well, more to come from Dennis for sure, and I just want to thank you, buddy. Is there somewhere that website or the company website, or where can people keep in touch with what you specifically are doing, or your companies and your ventures are doing? Where would you direct everybody?
Well, they can always visit relativemusicgroup.com.
Okay.
And they can see what's going on in the company. And if you want to DM me any personal messages, I'll get them.
Wonderful. So you're on Instagram, Facebook?
I'm on Instagram, Facebook,
Wonderful. And I'll put links to all that stuff in the podcast.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I'll get you a picture and all that kind of stuff. It's from 1971, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, something with bangs, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate it.
See you, buddy.
If today's episode lit a fire in you, don't let it fade. Subscribe to Sold for a Song, leave a review, and be the spark that helps others discover their own worth. And if you're ready to go deeper, my upcoming book, The Sold for Song Academy, are all waiting for you inside my private portal. Visit TerranceSawchuk.com. Let's build this movement together.